any date of birth certificate issued by a corporation or municipality. Suppose victim is illiterate. Victim could not produce any of these two. Then what is, how to determine? The third category is to go for ossification test, radiological examination, or any other scientific method, scientific new invention. That's just like our Justice Bhattacharya just now said. The scientific inventions, new scientific methods that can be adapted. Ossification test, that is known to us. And second one is radiological examination, that is also known to us. Dental examination, all these things. And any other thing that can be invented in course of time, because we cannot rule out, because till 1953 we were not aware of DNA. Right, 1953, when DNA was not invented, we were not aware of DNA, but now we are using DNA. That may come. So that's why they mentioned it clearly that any scientific method that is developed from time to time, that can be adapted. Then immediately comes the next question. To whom the error of margin should be given? Suppose you go for radiological examination, go for ossification test, or something, some scientific method of determination, without going for this certificates, medical, educational certificate, other certificates issued by corporate, other things, then to whom the error of margin should be given? There was much confusion, much inconsistency between courts. Some single judges, they held in favor of victim. Some they held in favor of the accused, because some of them developed the view that it is the object of the act. It is designed to give the benefit to the victim, so it should go in favor of the victim. Some said no, it should go in favor of the accused. But luckily for us, there are two judgments. One is of Supreme Court, and other is of Delhi High Court reference. They set the controversy to rest. The recent judgment, 2024 SEC Supreme Court, Delhi Online 4484 is the judgment. 2024 SEC Online Delhi, page 2284 is the judgment. Court on its own motion versus NCT Delhi. The citation is court on its own motion versus NCT Delhi. Two judges. They elaborately discussed it. They were lucky enough to have the guidance of the Supreme Court. Rajat Mohammad's case. Rajat Mohammed versus State of Himachal Pradesh is the judgment. 2018 9 SEC page 248 is the citation. 2018 9 SEC page 248 they decided. Rajat Mohammad's case. They said that error of margin should be given to the accused because we should not deviate from the fundamental canons of the criminal jurisprudence. They dissolved. So here of a latest reference answered by Delhi High Court, they clarified that the benefit should be given to the accused but not to the victim. So far as the victim is concerned, everything is clear, isn't it? Then coming to the other side of the coin, some controversy here. Recent Qatar's judgment, of course. They have also elaborately discussed all these things. First thing is a Siddheswar's case. Siddheswar is a state Hosur police station. Siddheswar versus state of Karnataka, of course, and a Hosur police station. The 2016 ILR 4203 is the citation. There, again they made the discussion on 94, and again they made the discussion on Rule 12 under JJ Rules 2007, and again on Section 7A under the JJ 2000. So same thing. How to determine the age of a juvenile? Same procedure under Section 94. So a question arose now. Another controversy arose. Suppose in one case, what happened is, it's a very interesting case. There, the victim and victim's guardian, they created some false record. They created some false record. So, educational certificate produced by them are the fake records. That was the allegation of the prosecution. Of course, they didn't agree. That means it was tampered record, so as to give the benefit to the victim. Then, under 15.3, that case falling under the 14.3, read with 15, read with 18.3 of Juvenile Justice Act, in between the age of 16 to 18 years. There, of course, you will see 15 says that the determination should be done within 3 months. But here what happened, the prosecution was initiated against these two people. A CC was registered. It will take time. So, is the period of 3 months, 3 months, is it recommendatory or mandatory? That was the question. Supreme Court clarified. Of course, I will give the citation just now. And they said that let the prosecution be done, but simply because it may result in some time delay, that benefit should not be denied to this juvenile. You may kindly note down this citation. This is important, that's why I am referring. First thing, Sidhu Siddheswar, you have noted this. Sidhu Siddheswar, they have relied upon Shahnawaz case, Supreme Court citation. Shahnawaz versus State of UP, 2011, 13 SCC 751. Karnataka High Court, they relied upon the earlier judgment Supreme Court, that is Shahnawaz versus State of UP, 2011, 13 SCC page 751. This case, please read this judgment. Kulai Ibrahim, alias Ibrahim, versus State Inspector of Police, BI Bazar Police Station, Coimbatore. 2024, very recent judgment. 2024, 12 SCC, page 332. Justice Ranjan P. Desai and Justice Madan Bilawkur. Kulai Ibrahim. The difficulty is they could not arrange, sir. Otherwise, I would have shown it. Okay, I will write, sir. Thank you. I will write. This is 2024. 12 SCC 332. Kulai Ibrahim. Kulai Ibrahim, alias Ibrahim versus Inspector of Police, State through Inspector of Police, BI Bazar Police Station, Coimbatore. 2 judges of the Supreme Court. Of course, the controversy falling under 14.3, read with 15, read with 18.3 of the JJ Act. Here, of course, there was one difficulty. Friends, I would like to clarify. Recently, of course, I answered some session arranged by Amravati High Court. There I had sufficient time. I could deal with the session 1.5 hours. There I fielded so many questions. But here I am having some restraint. I can't speak more than this. There they raised these points. Where to keep the accused? Suppose POCSO judge is a man who crossed 60 years, 70 years. He is produced with the POCSO judge. Where to keep him? That, of course, that 19 and 20 of JJ Act. So to keep him in a place of safety, there the section reads, to keep them in a place of safety. You should not send him to jail. Though it's a children court is nothing but POCSO court. He is not a juvenile. He is declared as adult who can be tried as who can be tried with children's court. That's the finding given by the Juvenile Justice Board. You may differ. You may pass an order 19.3. You may differ. You may not agree. Children's court, you may not agree. You will send back to the juvenile board. If you accepted it, then you have to try him. But where to keep him then? Then place of safety, as mentioned section 19 of the Juvenile Justice Act. Suppose he crossed 18 years, can he be sent to the jail? Again, section 20 operates. So there are all these, of course, complexities. They may appear so ostensibly. They are all put to rest. This is what I want to impress upon. There are judgments, so many judgments. Read them thoroughly. Of course, everything is so simple. There is no controversy now. Thank you, madam. Thank you. Thank you, friends, for listening to me. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Mr. Bhupati, for giving us so many citations and so many cases, decided cases. I'm sure all of you have taken them down, and if you're interested, you can look up the citations with regard to the controversy of age determination, one of the most important topics. So I'm really sorry, Mr. Bhupati, for hurrying you, because we still have two more speakers, and we would love to hear from them, from their own lived experiences. So, can I pass on the mic to Ms. Srimati Rima Rajeshwari, who will give she was a very important addition to our Juvenile Justice Committee and did wonderful work. So, we would love to hear what she has to say. Thank you.
Esteemed officers, Honorable Justice Moshini Bhattacharya, and my fellow panelists, Honorable Retired District and Sessions Judge, my colleague Ashok, and all the distinguished guests, especially justices from the Honorable High Court of Telangana, and all the participants. A very warm welcome and also good afternoon to all of you. We are also partners. We are a very important stakeholder in this 2 days national consultation that is happening with a lot of focus on children and their rights and the wide ambit of crimes being committed against children. Because of lack of time, I'm not really going into all the stories that I brought with me. Very quickly, I'll show the presentation with a focus on what exactly we do at the Women's Safety Wing. I stand here as the representative of the Women's Safety Wing of Telangana Police with the permission of our ADG, Shri, Ms. Charu Sinha IPS, who has been a guiding force for us in terms of bringing a lot of focus on this subject. And also I've had the good fortune of being guided by Justice Bhattacharya ma'am and also Justice Nanda ma'am, being a member of the Juvenile Justice Committee for the past 1 year or so. Women's Safety Wing has actually received a lot of guidance from them. We started looking at the issue holistically, which was kind of not there before. For the past 1 year, a lot of important initiatives have been started. And earlier we would only look at case monitoring, we would only look at the different stages of case, especially cases against children. But now, having learned a lot from the Juvenile Justice Committee, now we go into a lot of other aspects also, how these children are being cared for in the institutions in coordination with the WCT department, with great guidance again from Anita Ramachandran ma'am. And the SLSA, Panjakshri Garu has also been quite supportive in that regard. So it has given us a lot of, opportunities to learn and look at the issue holistically. So before I go into the presentation, very quickly I would like to mention about something, a very important step that was taken by the National Human Rights Commission and eventually in one of the important judgments of the Honorable Supreme Court of India. If you remember, in October 2023, the National Human Rights Commission took a very important decision. They thought this is time that we should give a very clear and concise guidelines in terms of tackling this issue. We've all heard about child pornography. We've heard a lot about the different kinds of crimes being committed against children, in both physical and also in the digital space. But not much awareness was there among the public. And if you look at the police officers, especially the practitioners within the criminal justice system also, there was no deeper understanding of the issue at hand. So in 2023, I should especially thank David from UNICEF for bringing a lot of focus on this issue and also educating us in the process. So this is a very, very important document for all of us to have. This should be a very this should be an important reference point for all of us to start looking at this issue going forward. So they said that any child, if a child's normal childhood is disrupted by any means, it can be a crime, or it can be an exposed vulnerability, or it can be an act which is actually infringing upon the normal childhood of a child, it is as good as violation of the basic human rights of that child. And with that, they gave this important document and they told us what exactly we are supposed to do. And eventually, Government of India got into a memorandum of understanding with the NECMEC, the National Center for Missing and Exploited Children. It's actually a non-profit organization based out of United States, and they've done a lot of work in terms of keeping children safe in the digital space, especially the dark web, which we keep reading about in the mainstream media. So after the MOU was signed, we started getting this, the CTR reports, the child, tip line reports, which is being shared with all the state police organizations through the National Crime Records Bureau. So basically the MOU was signed between NECMEC and NCRB. So today in India, every time there is a crime committed against a child online, if it is reported either by the victim herself or himself, or by an interested party, or through a public, a lot of preventive actions are being taken by different police organizations. So if we receive any input regarding a crime being committed against a children in the online space, action is immediately initiated. And earlier, if you look at the timeline that was given to all these intermediaries, all these social media companies, we call them intermediaries, it was almost 36 hours. For example, a child's, compromised pictures are being posted online, and a case is filed, and the law enforcement agency addresses a letter to the intermediary. It can be Instagram, WhatsApp, or Facebook. And if they don't take down the content within 36 hours, they are liable to be punished, or an action. I mean, we can initiate action against them. But now the NHRC guidelines clearly says that this 36 hours is like way too long. It should be brought down to 6 hours, because I'm sure you must have, being practitioners of law, many of you must have encountered cases where children actually go through unexplainable suffering whenever such incidents happen. I'm going to go into the details of it. I'll be giving you the various types of criminal activities which are being committed against children online. But it's very difficult to explain the kind of trauma a child goes through once this basic rights or privacy is violated. So with this, I'd like to start my presentation. Can we move? So see, when we started the technological revolution in the late 90s, and eventually around around 2014 and 15, when we started embracing digital India revolution, we had absolutely no idea about the flip side of the whole thing, right? See, today India rides high on this honor that we are probably one of the largest, being the most populous country, we are probably having one of the largest population which is online, and the digital India revolution is being spoken about with a lot of pride and honor. But on the other side, there was this issue which was brewing, and in this internet, which is actually looked at as a positive social force for becoming an enabler for growth, becoming a multiplier for growth and development, was also being used to commit crime against children. I'm not going into the crime against women at all, because today we are only focusing on children, crime against children, and it was leading to significant harm to a very important target population of our country. So we missed out on that crucial aspect, but better late than never. For the past 6 to 7 years, Government of India and all the state police organizations have done a lot of activities to address the issue holistically. So today, if you look at the percentage of children who are actually online, I mean, this figure is almost 2 years old. I mean, I couldn't have the latest figures. 97% of the children between the age group of 5 to 17 are online. literally all the time. Very recently I was home. I went to Kerala to see my parents, and we were having a family dinner, and one of my cousin's wife has a 3-year-old, and the child just simply refuses to eat, and she just gives the smartphone and the child starts eating. And the child is not even looking at the mother, neither looking at the father, neither looking at the the grandparents. The child is just literally, the head is just into the device, right? And if you remember, when we were children, when we were growing up, if you don't eat, what the mother or the grandmother used to say? What did they say? They would just say that khao nahi to police aa jayega, right? But I think we really have come a long way. We really have come long way, that the child is like, it was a slap. Yes, ma'am. Same, ma'am. But the add-on was the fear of police. So, but things have come a long way, where the child is like totally oblivious to what is happening in the surrounding. There is no social interaction, the character formation and the character building is not happening properly, and the parents, being busy, most of them are career professionals, and they live in nuclear families. There is no social support. They just totally leave the responsibility to the mobile phones. And there's a lot of lack of understanding. There's a huge the issue of ignorance among the parents and also among the teachers about this potential risk which are awaiting these children in the online space. So as per one of the reports published by NECMEC, because every year they come up with this report was accessed for the year 2022 and 23. 22% jump was there in crimes committed against children online. And unofficially I tried to collect some data, and this figure is almost going to be 40-45 for this year. So it is a big number. So very quickly I'll tell you about some of the types of cases that we come across as part of as part of the She Cyber Lab that we run as one of the modules in Women's Safety Wing. Cyber grooming. You see, this is a very important issue. This is a reflection of what is happening in today's society, right? So back in those days, who used to groom a child? It's either an uncle or grandparents or the peer group, some friends or some people, the neighbors, or some people in the locality. Today this whole grooming process happens online. Every child is active in at least more than 2 social media platforms, and today's kids are this is an Insta generation, right? They're all they call it gram, Instagram. The Gen Z calls it gram. They are a gram generation. Their interaction, their social interaction happens more online than in the physical space, right? I think the very limited the time interval where they actually talk to fellow human beings is when they are actually in school, or if they are into some sports activities or some extracurricular activities. All other times they are actually into the they are hooked onto the mobile phones. So cyber grooming happens when somebody befriends a child with an intention to commit sexual abuse against this child victim in the future. The second type of crime that we have encountered is cyber stalking. This is really widespread. If you must have read a lot about the She Teams that we have in the state of Telangana. It's one of our flagship initiatives, and Telangana police received a lot of praise across the country for this particular initiative called She Teams. So in 2014-15, when we started She Teams, we were only handling issues of eve teasing, crimes committed against women in the public space. The goal was to keep the women and children safe in the public spaces, right? But today, when we look at the kind of complaints which are being received by these She Teams, most of them have something to do with online space, and most of these complaints are received from young adolescent age group, especially girls studying in 9th or 10th, or inter first, second, or in junior colleges. And the kind of, if you look at the number of complaints which are being received, and mind you, this is only I'm only talking about the number of cases which are actually coming to the notice of the police. And what happens in a society like ours, even today, in spite of all the strides that we have made, all the development and the progress, even today going to a police station is a stigma. Okay, it's not really a socially acceptable thing to go and report something to the police station, at least in the rural areas. right? So we are looking at something which is actually really, really big, and through a wider community outreach, we really have to address this issue and educate the parents and the teachers, especially the teacher community, about these issues. Cyberbullying. Earlier, we would receive complaints that, a boy approached me. He wanted to be he wanted me to be in love with him and like marry him, but I refused, and he's not letting me go. He's like following me wherever I go. But today, this is happening online, right? Earlier, if you just say no to a boy, refuses to meet him, then it just stops then and there. You can take, adequate precautions not to be in the same place where the boy is. But today, when you're online, when you have WhatsApp, when you have Instagram and Facebook, it is literally difficult. It's becoming quite hard for these, young age group to stay away from these, perpetrators. We receive complaints of, girls getting abused, and, I have gone through that language. It is extremely, extremely abusive. So the kind of mental trauma these children go through, it is quite easy for us to book a case and take up investigation and probably initiate legal action against the person. What about the mental trauma the child goes through, the girl goes through? And sometimes when parents come to know about these issues, the girl child is not allowed to continue the education. So we are actually looking at a bigger social issue. Sextortion. This just does not stop with children. Today this issue is quite widespread. I have received complaints from even, educated people, a lot of senior officers, many acclaimed professionals in the society, that, you are busy. We are always busy. You have the phone in the hand, and sometimes you get a call. Sometimes it's a video call. Without realizing that it's a video call, you're just taking the call. You are attending the call. And on the other side of the window, there is a woman, absolutely without clothes, right? And the screenshot is taken, and that screenshot is used for blackmailing. And a lot of such cases are happening irrespective of the widespread awareness programs which are taken up by the police. Phishing, it's very, very common, not exactly a sexual offense, but it is quite common. A lot of people have lost a lot of money, and especially children, because these days, parents started giving pocket money to children as young as like 10, 11, 12. And they are also subjected, they are also vulnerable to these kind of scams. Where, somebody, I was just leaving home after lunch for this session. It's quite funny because today I was supposed to talk about cybercrime. When I just started, I was repeatedly getting a call because we were working on multiple issues. Without realizing, I just took the call, and the person said, there's a courier that came for you from the bank. I'm going to SMS one number to you. Please call that number and talk to that boy. I said, okay. I didn't understand. I didn't realize that it's a scam call. And then the person called me like 5 times. Then I had suspicion, and then I sent the number to my, cybercrime team, to Sub-Inspector Harish, and he checked, and then the person was trying to hack into my WhatsApp. And, for 2 minutes I was a little like, imagine if your WhatsApp is hacked. It's very, you can reverse the whole thing, but it's a hardship that one has to go through. So you have to be very, very careful. We feel that, with smartphone, life has become easy. Actually, it has not. And it's our responsibility to teach the children as well. Cyber defamation. A boy and girl, they meet, they fall in love, they're in a relationship, they break up, and then the whole dirty linen is washed in the social media platforms. Pictures are being posted, privacy is compromised, and a lot of abusive language being used against the children. Especially from, we have encountered so many such cases in schools in Hyderabad, where the parents come and show us screenshots about this abusive language which is being targeted, against these children. CSAM. I'm going to talk in detail about this after the presentation is over. But ma'am also is taking a lot of, initiative in terms of creating awareness about this issue. As on date in India, child sexual abuse material is one of the most important challenges being faced by us, right? One, because of lack of awareness among a lot of us. And 2, we don't have the right kind of resources and the adequate manpower to handle this issue. Earlier we used to use this terminology child pornography, but later on there was an amendment done to the act, and now we say child sexual abuse material. So NECMEC, in collaboration with the NCRB, is taking up a lot of awareness activities. I foresee the coordination center at the center, Cybercrime Coordination Center. They also run a lot of courses. They run public awareness initiatives online. They try to reach out to different sections of the society. But it's like a small grain in the sand. So there's a lot to be done in this area as well. So what is the MO used by these, cybercrime offenders? Trust building, but just like how it happens in the physical space. A lot of these children don't have the social abilities to form relationships in the physical space. If you look at today's kids, earlier, a kid would have like 5 to 6 friends. And today also they have 5 to 6 friends, but they're not like, meeting in person. It's all online. It's all on chats. It's all like snaps. It's all on like sharing Instagram reels. How does a Gen Z, communicates with other kids? With the peers, they're all sharing reels. And whose reel is it? How exposed they are, how vulnerable they are in the space. They are not aware about all these things. Social engineering is when a potential victim is under the control of the perpetrator, this whole brainwashing that happens. And eventually the victim is subjected to all kinds of, abuse online. And then if the person tries to establish a communication with the victim, then, it leads to a bigger crime. Platform exploitation. These days, most of the kids are heavily into video games. And most of the video games have this option of in-app or the in-games, chat box. So that is also used sometimes for anonymity. These perpetrators are opting for these, in-game chat box, rather than the regular social media, chats. Grooming, there is a pattern to it. First they establish contact, then they just normalize this communication contact, and then the victim is slowly isolated because the victim is like heavily onto the person who is actually grooming, and she or he stops interacting with the rest of the family members or the friends. Then the actual exploitation happens, and by the time the issue or the crime happens, it's too late. Low self-esteem, we will talk, because of lack of time I'm not going into the PTSD issues of it, but very quickly you can take a look. What is the impact these crimes have on these young, on these young children? There's a psychological trauma, they're socially isolated, and obviously there is a, severe decline in their academic performance, and most of them start, self-harming. And these days it's really difficult to say anything to the children, right? 10th class mein marks kam aaye, parents are scolding the kid, and the kid goes and commits suicide, right? It's very fragile. In fact, our boss, ADG Charu ma'am, has conducted a lot of training sessions in this regard for the police officers about how to look at this aspect which is actually overlooked in the due course of our work. Then obviously there is long-term consequences. We are talking about a future generation. If this generation is lost, obviously the future is lost. And quickly about the initiatives that we do at Women's Safety Wing. She Cyber Lab, it's a matter of pride for us. Started as a very small group of team. It is handled by Sub-Inspector Harish, very talented young constables such as Arun, and couple of others. And they do an amazing work. It is a preventive initiative that we have started in the Women's Safety Wing. Using the open source investigation tools, these young police officers, they train themselves first, they educate themselves first, and they do something called the cyber patrolling in the suspicious platforms and also in the dark web. So whenever we come across profiles or activities, so especially from repeat offenders, their profiling is done, and we generate something called an intelligence report. And then the ADG Women's Safety Wing addresses a letter to the chiefs of the police force in all the states where the presence of the accused is established. And so far we have generated 64 such intelligence reports. This year we have addressed letters to the DGPs of like 14 states, and very recently there was a very interesting case also. I will go into the case studies also. So this is like it's a preventive policing activity that we've been doing. Cyber Congress, this was our very first campaign where we trained all the students about cyber safety, followed by Her campaign, where the cyber safety campaign focused a lot on girl children. We covered almost 3.75 lakh students since 2021. It was implemented in 3 phases with an amazing support from WCD department and also Department of Education in state of Telangana. Cyber Ambassador program, which is currently ongoing, we wanted to look at the target group studying in government institutions, especially in hostels. the welfare residential schools, and we covered almost 7,350 students and almost 4,000 teachers, and 2,000 government schools were covered, and we imparted extremely professionally made content were made available to this target group, and digital safety education was imparted to them. And as you all know, in 2024, Telangana was the first state to have an exclusive bureau for cyber security. And our awareness programs, we continue to do them. Few case studies for you to understand like what kind of cases are reported. WhatsApp calls, 2 minutes on that. WhatsApp calls scam alert. This was exactly what I just faced in the afternoon. So somebody will call and they will say that I'm going to send you a number. Please call that number. And then a courier is awaiting you or a parcel is awaiting you. So in this, if you look at this number, there is *401*, right? This is actually a call forward option given by Airtel, the internet service provider. So somebody calls this victim and they say that we are sending a number, please add this prefix and call that number. The person gets access to the WhatsApp, hacks into it, and uses this WhatsApp number to register to commit crime, and also has access into all the private messages of the victim. And the next case is about this is a Telegram big bust that I was talking about. So She Cyber Lab, which is actually doing the cyber patrolling, came across a profile of a suspicious person who was actually handling a huge volume of child sexual abuse material. So we did a lot of investigation. Back-end investigation was done. Based on the investigative findings, we generated the intelligence report, and it was sent to DGP West Bengal. And there was a very prompt and quick response from West Bengal police, and the person was arrested. When he was arrested, he had just one device, and by then he had almost like 1,000 different child sexual abuse material. How does he get so many pictures of these young boys and girls? It's all from the open social media platforms. So when your kid is posting her picture or his picture, it is just available for everybody to see. Instagram harassment. This is again a very interesting case where a father approached and they said that my girl's Instagram account was hacked and they are just posting very abusive content. So our team started the investigation, and eventually we found out that the whole thing was stage managed by the victim herself, so that she can post the story online and gain more followers. So the children are actually living in this this fake virtual world. They are totally cut off from the realities of the world. So in order to, she even went to the extent of dragging the whole family to the police station, and she started writing graffiti on the walls of the bathroom. She started posting all these abusive content herself, just to create that sensationalism, so that she will have more followers when there is a new account. SMS bombing case, again this is a case where your number must be used by an accused to commit cybercrime elsewhere, and you wouldn't even come to know about it till the time somebody goes and reports. So this was a case where a girl reported about receiving warning messages, and we started investigation. And when we traced the person, this was a Marathi speaking person sitting in Maharashtra, and he had absolutely no idea that his number was being used. His cousin uses his number, hacks into this number, uses this number to register himself on almost 36 social media platforms, and creates a way into WhatsApp, hacks WhatsApp, and starts committing crime. So that is why whenever you use an app, please start using the two-factor verification in your phones. So these are some of the technical, the digital defenses that the children can be taught by the parents. Most important, parental controls. Almost every platform offers this. The network level filters are already inbuilt, and every time a device is given to the child, parent has to ensure that parental controls are activated. Privacy settings, obviously, you should teach children, how to set up the private mode in all these apps, and virtual private networks. VPN is legally allowed in India now, so we can teach children to have VPN enabled devices. Last but not the least, very important, how to report. Most of the time, these people go scot-free because we don't report. we feel that, acha theek hai, this is something small. Why go to the trouble of reporting and, doing rounds in the police station? We just simply don't report. Because of that, internet is becoming a breeding ground for all these perpetrators against the children. So these are the different ways we can report the crimes. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Ms. Rima Rajeshwari, for actually educating us on all the words, the terminology, which most of us may have been aware of, but what exactly it is and how it is relevant for our daily lives, we needed to know. And before I hand over the mic to Sri P. Ashok, who will give us a comprehensive overview of the 3 acts, 3 legislations, I just want to add one line that, we tend to see children as victims. But now the time has come, or maybe for some time now, children are also consumers. Children are also consumers of this kind of content on social media, in the dark web. And I remember, when we were children and when our parents gave us some money, whether it was 10 rupees, 20 rupees, our first thing was to go and buy a chocolate or something to eat. And now I read a survey somewhere, maybe last year, that now if a child, and particularly you'll be shocked to know in the rural areas, and in the semi-rural areas, semi-urban areas, if they get 50 rupees or even 30 rupees, they will go to their local pan shop and they will give that money and they will watch pornography
for 5 minutes, 10 minutes, depending on how much money they have at their disposal. So can you see,
our entire notion of entertainment, our entire notion of pleasure has changed over the years. It's now no longer restricted to a chocolate or something, or a mithai or a samosa, but it's to watch pornography on the web. So children as consumers is something we really need to worry about. And thank you, Ms. Rajeshwari. We are also engaged with our WhatsApp accounts, whether calls, whether images, whether videos. So next time you get a call from an unknown number and you get repeated calls or you get a video call, we know what to do. So thank you for that. And over to you, Ms. Sri P. Ashok. Thank you.
No, not this. Not this. Keep it together. Keep it here. Not say that. Accept. Keep it. Yes. Honorable Justice Bhattacharya ji, Chair of the today's panel discussion, Bhupati sir, Madam Rima Rajeshwari garu, Justice of High Court, other dignitaries, all stakeholders assembled today. Actually, I am going to deal on subject of comparison of POCSO, JJ, then BNSS, etc. Before I go to my slides, I wanted to emphasize the importance of the POCSO, importance of the JJ, the almost decade plus old act, the crime committed against the children, and the comparison, the study conducted to analyze the crime against the children, it was very, this thing, 30% children below are the, 30% are the children in India, 96% children, the crime committed were the known persons,
against the children. 96% children are girl child, and 25% are crime committed are the sexual assault cases. 18% are sexual harassment cases, and 56% cases are the age of the accused when compared was age between 21 to 30 years. And in 36% case only the scientific evidence was used. In the morning session, Honorable Justice has been emphasized on the scientific evidence. And also there are 56% cases where the offences committed in the POCSO are penetrative and aggravated penetrative sexual assaults. So other problems just now Bhupati sir has emphasized on the age determinations. Madam Bhattacharya Madam also brought out latest technologies on the age determination and all. But the issue is when the age in the age determination, when the people are children are focused for the radiation, there is also a problem of this. So I now focus on the issues which I have given topic. Before commencing, I always quote this statement of our Justice Madan B. Lokur, who is pioneer in the child protection. A child victim is not a statistical number. We are talking of a life that is going to be there for many years. We all, the stakeholders, which we are aware of that. This is because it's a big mandate why we are here. We have the constitutional mandate, we have ratified the UN Convention on the Child Rights, Article 415, 16, 23 and 39 emphasizes on the child protection and child laws. This a small comparison I made between the laws. The definition was given in the definition law. In juvenile justice it is below 18 years, under 2, section 2 and 12. Then in POCSO also it is 18 years under section 2D. Child means any person below the age of 18 years. And it's a gender neutral law, you all know. In Bharatiya Nyaya, child means any person below the age of 18 years. And key protections provided under the laws. In juvenile justice, the rehabilitation was the important aspects. Care, adoption, trial by the juvenile justice boards, and the importance of the child welfare committees, child welfare police officers, then probation officers, district child protection units, the special juvenile police units established under section 107 of the Juvenile Justice Act, the composition of the SJPU, and under POCSO similar provisions are set up as there. That is, child welfare committee is one of the key areas where the child of the sexual abuse has to produce before the CWC. And SJPU has a pivotal role because under section 19 it is the duty of the SJPU or the local police to report the offence of the sexual abuse. The District Legal Services Authority is also an important organization because the compensation, distribution and other aspects to be taken care. The shelter is another important aspect where the victims of sexual abuse have to be produced in the shelter homes or the CCI units. Then rehabilitation, many of the sexual abuse victims in our experience, we have seen that many of the children who are sexually abused are losing their education. So such people have to be provided the rehabilitation for their further education, and in some cases children who are working are also losing their jobs. So for such people we have to provide the rehabilitation processes. Then MPTs was one of the important and major challenges in today POCSO cases because we have the time as per the Medical Termination of Pregnancy Act for only 24 weeks. In recent judgment, one of the cases, the Honorable Supreme Court has remanded back the Honorable High Court of Mumbai, wherein a delay has been caused in conducting medical examination, whereby the parents have changed their version and they wanted to keep the pregnancy without the termination. So another important aspects on POCSO is there in the provisions is that support persons. Thanks to the Women's Safety Wing for providing the Bharosa centers where the support services persons have been provided, which was mandated under Rule 4 of the POCSO rules. Then we have interpreter, translators, experts, special educators. All these services need to be utilized either by the police when interacting with the children or the special judge when conducting trial. Then we have offences against children and punishments are also there. So offences under Juvenile Justice Act are punishment for cruelty, unemployment, begging, intoxication, liquor, drugs, vending, peddling, sale of children, corporal punishments like that, kidnapping, etc., which were marked in the Act, we mentioned in the Act from 74 to 89. And in the POCSO Act, before the POCSO Act, we do not have the definitions for sexual assault, sexual harassment, pornography. These sections were brought in on as per the POCSO Act. So, and also sexual, penetrative sexual assault, aggravated penetrative assaults. All these sections will deal for the victims. Say the punishment is ranging from 3 years to the life, that is remainder of natural life, and also in some cases it is death also. In one of the cases where I was in the field as Additional SP Sangareddy district, we requested to the Honorable High Court for a speedy trial in one of the victims of 6 years old. She was raped and brutally killed. In that case, the Honorable Special Judge of Sangareddy has given judgment within a span of 6 months, and in that case the offender was given punishment of death penalty and also compensation for about 10 lakhs rupees to the next kith of the victim. Though incorporated the POCSO provisions only, Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita, we have the 63, 65, 64 like that, and in Bharatiya Nyaya Suraksha Sanhita, we have to safeguard the procedural, trial and examination of the witnesses. When we are examining the witnesses under 180 BNSS and also under 183 BNSS with the Honorable Magistrates,
the care should be taken while interacting with the children. The sensitivity has to be involved when interacting with the children. Trial of the juvenile offenders. In juvenile justice boards to conduct the trial as per section 4 of the juvenile justice board. Child friendly court setup is already there. The preliminary assessment into heinous offences is one of the important area where many of our juvenile justice officers or the police officers, they are not utilizing this opportunity in producing the matter before the JJB to escalate the matter to the children court. Then in POCSO also we have special court orders are there. Special courts are established, special courts are in place, and judgments have been rendered as per timely. The beauty of the POCSO Act, as per my knowledge, is completely it's a procedural law. Completely it is saying you have to do this. Completely saying you have to give this compensation. Completely, directing us, you do this punishment and like that. So in Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita, trial as per the seriousness of the children. Here the heinous offence, that is between 16 and 18 age, this was added in the section 15 was added in our Juvenile Justice Care and Protection Act 2012, owing to the recommendations of the Justice Verma Commission after the incident of that Nirbhaya incident. So guidelines are there under the Bharatiya Nyaya Sanhita, Nyaya Suraksha Sanhita. The trial, in-camera trials, fast tracking of courts, etc. has to be made done. So police involvement is very, very important under all these acts. Especially he is the first responder and his ability to extract the truth is very important. So we have the setup of juvenile justice, special juvenile police units. Child welfare police officers are also placed in each police station as per GOMS number 25. And special juvenile police units also established in each district, headed by Additional Deputy Commissioner of Police to deal with the children of sexual abuse and also the juvenile child in conflict with law. There is, we all know this important aspect of this mandatory reporting provision under Juvenile Justice Act as per section 19, and anybody who come across any incident of such nature of having offence against the child must be reported to the local police, that is special juvenile police units. Otherwise, it's a punishable offence under the same law. And one of the, when I am interacting with the CWCs of in a session, one of the CWCs has informed me that despite of several complaints, in one of the district the case was not registered. Immediately I talked to that concerned officer, then the FIR was registered. Here all the stakeholders is very imperative, especially doctors who doesn't report the matter. In MPT cases, they just do the MPTC and then leave the victim. So this is an offense, and then all the person who got the knowledge will be punished. Then police to follow in the juvenile POCSO Act. Statement recorded to be child sensitive, as I told you, and in the language spoken by the child. Consent and reporting is mandatory. Reporting is there under POCSO, and protective custody and observations. In all juvenile justice cases, the observation homes, place of safety for juveniles to be provided, and special homes. These homes are run by the government, and in some cases it is by the NGOs. So victim has to be, even the juvenile person in child in conflict with is also to be treated as a most important person. Victims kept safety during trial if needed. During the trial, if the victim of POCSO faces any fear of this thing, then she can be conducted in the kept in the shelter homes. Then victim compensations has been provided. Justice Madam has been emphasized on this as per our 357 ACRPC with the provisions, and the NALSA fund is there, special, then also SALSA. Then DLSA is responsible for the disbursement of the fund. Compensation fund is available, state victim compensation fund is available, and then BNSS mandates victim-centric trials allow compensation claims. Compensation in one of the judgment, Bijoy versus West Bengal court, the court has also emphasized to give more compensation other than the regular required compensation, since the state has the responsibility to protect the children and failed in its activity. So in-camera trials, most specified, mandatory in-camera trials are there. Mandatory in-camera trials to be conducted, which is already in place. So especially establishment of our court in Hyderabad city is one of the greatest court for the child specific this thing. Then speedy trials, Juvenile Justice Board to conduct a trial in 4 months, but child friendly and fast track courts, as per the the POCSO Act, the judgment shall be completed after taking the cognizance in 1 year. So time bound investigation for the police officer in 60 days, and this is also being seriously monitored by all the child sexual abuse cases and also rape cases by the Government of India Ministry of Home Affairs. So non-disclosure is one of the important provisions available under the Juvenile Justice Act for 74 and also section 23 of the POCSO Act. Then disclosure also is an offence under BNS 72. Presumption clause is there. This section presumption clause, that is age, has been much talked on this by Sir Bhupati sir. There is abatement clause under POCSO. Whoever abates, then the punishment is there under 17. The presumption is very, very important clause. This the accused has to prove his guilt. Then public awareness is one of the important arena in which all stakeholders have the responsibility to conduct public awareness about the POCSO Act and JJ Act and the offences committed. In this aspect, the Bharosa centers are doing a lot of work by analyzing the hotspot analysis and then conducting awareness campaigns. This is some just words that we have to conduct copies to the victims. No face-to-face meeting of the child accused, and no to keep the children in the police station beyond sunrise and sunset. No publishing of material. Safe corners. In recent times, we have opened many safe corners in the police stations for dealing with the POCSO as well as the juvenile cases. There is beautiful institutional mechanism was established to provisions have been provided in Telangana. One is that Bharosa, you all know that Bharosa officers are also is there. A single window system, support primarily towards quest for justice delivery and rehabilitation. It's a 24 hours running organization, and video conferencing facility is also there. In some of the cases, honorable magistrates have conducted video conferences. Recording 161 statements is by the police officer. In all Bharosa Center, one sub-inspector of police has been provided. One of its kind child-friendly court was established in Hyderabad city. It's a paperless center administered by the Barossa Society, headed by the Women Safety Wing Additional DGP Madam. And child rape and child sexual abuse cases have been taken. Initially, it was opened in 2006 with one center, but in 2021, it was started in a massive way. By now, we have created about 29 centers across the Telangana state, each district having one Barossa center, and in tri-commissioners, we are going to have 2-3 centers in each district. Thereby, we are, going up to 35 centers. Immediately, as soon as the victim comes to the police station, she will be immediately sent with a requisition to the Barossa Society, where the Barossa people will go, and then victim will be examined by the psychological person, who is psychologist is already recruited there, and she will examine the victim, and thereafter, after talking to her, after conducting an interview, then she will put to before the police officer for recording the statement under 24 of the POCSO Act, and then medical examination also conducted in Hyderabad city. We have the facility. In some other district center we do not have, and that if that facility has been provided, the long waiting of the victim at the hospital will be avoided. Then we have the legal facilities. The legal support person is provided for handling the victim and their legal rights, and also accompanying the victim for recording 164 statement at the court, magistrate court. Rehabilitation rehabilitation has been provided. Shelter is being provided by producing before the CWC. We will outreach to generate awareness. And the beauty of the Barossa Society and Barossa Center is
we have provided the victim compensation fund of about ₹1,00,000 in the each Barossa center to meet the immediate medical expenses of the victims of the sexual abuse. And this is a feather in our cap that the Honorable Supreme Court in Saxena versus Union of India has categorically stated to provide one-stop centers, and one such center which is already been set up is Hyderabad Barossa. This can be used as a model for another one-stop centers in the country. So we have also provided the institutional mechanism provisions is child-friendly corners have been created. 10 centers have been created in Sangareddy, and already in operational. With the help of UNICEF, we have taken the assistance from the UNICEF also in providing these centers, where the victims of juvenile children or child in conflict with will be provided, and also we are using these centers for the victims of sexual abuse. Infrastructure in place. These are the places we have already created. This is a reserve open. This is the creation of our juvenile justice, special juvenile police units. Pre-protection rules also we are following for the children under Rule 16 of the JJ Act. No FIR shall be registered like that. And forwarded the nature, the probation officer facilities are being used in the cases. And these are all the prohibited. Production of the child has to be in conflict with law before the board. No handcuff for the children, and not used coercive forces. Inform the charge made against the children to the parents and guardians. Not to compel the child to confess his guilt. Like parents, guardian may be present during the interview of the children. No feeling of custodial interrogation. Not to ask the child to sign. CWP shall be in plain clothes, which we are ensuring. And general principles is one of the important area we are focusing. The diversional alternative principle we are implementing in Hyderabad through she teams, where the victims of children in conflict with law who are caught by the she teams are being diverted at the police station itself by taking an undertaking from them and conducting counseling. Then principal assessment is one of the important area where principal magistrate will conduct the Juvenile Justice Board for the conducting trial of the accused of 16 and 18 years age. This is wage verification, sir, as Ali categorically treated. Sir, here we are facing and we need your intervention here. The most of the police cases, when we see the FIRs, only the bona fide certificate are being submitted with the charge sheet. Bona fide certificate is not a valid certificate. So I think we need some good insight on this, because many of the problem we are being facing on ground is that many of the victims are illiterate. They do not have the birth certificates.
For that also there is an answer by the Supreme Court.
Yes, yes.
TC is also not accepted.
Yeah, that
Transfer
thesis is also not accepted.
Yeah.
Study certificate is also not accepted. Only the matriculation certificate
Only
accepted. Board certificate.
those mentioned.
Matriculation and board certificates, sir, and also municipality and corporation and panchayats. The problem we are being facing is that the children are illiterate. They do not have a date of birth. Only we have the evidence is that Aadhaar card, which is not admissible. And the last availability is that born ossification test. In many of the cases, it is going in favor of the accused because the doctor is giving the his opinion between 17 to 18 years, and sometimes or 16 to 18 years, and in sometimes it is 16 to like that. So that is also the problem. And also here in born ossification, since we have to expose the children for the radiation, this thing that is also posing danger to their
so also driving license.
Yes.
And Aadhaar card also not accepted.
Not accepted. Yes, that's what, sir. So this is actually for the consumption of our police officer. I have specifically made this slide. Then in this recent Honorable Supreme Court judgment again reiterated that in the form of school register was not sufficient to arrive at the conclusion that the POCSO were less than 16 years. So invariably we need to have a date of birth certificate and SSC certificates. Otherwise, we have the only method is bone ossification test. So in this thing also, we have a lot of stakeholders are important in this convergence for converging all the laws. So these are the police are to record the statements under 24 of the POCSO Act in plain clothes, the police officer, and language to be used. These are the same language spoken by the children. The medical examination to be conducted, the frequent breaks to be given to the child. So police officers should read out loudly to the victim and then record. The child dignity have to be protected like that. And then magistrate has to record the statement within 24 hours as emphasized in the Tarkar Sivana versus Karnataka state, which is not happening, sir. The statement have to be, this is one of important ideas which I wanted to emphasize. Then medical examination is another problem. This is also not happening in 24 hours. The victims are being in queue. So the medical actual law, it is called as a medical legal emergency as per the POCSO 27 Act and also in the 184 of 184 of BNSS. So compensation. These now we have trained all the SHOs in the state, sir, through our Honorable DGP, sir. We have providing now the Form A format under POCSO rules to the victims, give entitlement of this thing, and also preliminary assessment to report. Yeah. So this is the Child Welfare Committee. In three circumstances, we are producing the victim before the Child Welfare Committee when the accused and the victim are in the same household, because we have the most of the cases pertinent to this case. So 94% cases are on this nature. Child is living in child care institution, and when the child is without any care. So support services we are providing. Appointment of support person is there. Then child-friendly procedures of all judges, they know this. This is an important aspect, sir. We all converged today to make the child an important aspect, make the child to be free, and make the child to not to re-traumatize. All the stakeholders to converge, and then important judgments which are there. And finally, I request, let us protect the child rights and the best interest of the child. Thank you so much, one and all.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you very much, Sri Ashok. And I will not say anything because we are already 25 minutes behind our schedule. And just 1 minute. And we have another session. Justice Vijay Sen is waiting for his session. So I will not take my 10 minutes. Just wanted to thank my panelists for raising very important issues. To Mr. Bhupati for showing us the decision citations, to Ms. Rajeshwari educating us about so many different concepts, cyber crimes, child sexual abuse material. Interesting that from child pornography now we use that expression, child sexual abuse material, and because it shows that there's a shift somewhere in our thinking, that pornography, child pornography is not for our entertainment, but if we actually indulge in it, then we are liable for an offense. And to Sri Ashok for giving us a total overview of what the laws are and where to go in case you have a problem. So thank you very much, and but most of all to all of you, all my colleagues, my esteemed colleagues, my friends, Ms. Ramachandran, everyone, Mr. George, everyone in the audience I know. Thank you very much for being with us, and all the best for the next session. I'm sure that will be an equally great success. Thank you.
Thank you, Milad, and other honorable resource persons on the dais for such inspiring and thought-provoking deliberations by focusing on important provisions relating to child in POCSO Act cases, along with other laws. We would like to take this opportunity to express our gratitude to Her Lordship and other honored resource persons for their generosity and kindness in gracing this occasion by felicitating them. For this,
Sir, just 1 minute, sir. Just 1 minute. With the kind permission, Chair, I want to tell one important judgment because what is happening is the Supreme Court frowned the practice of using the word child pornography in judgments, but still judges are using the word child pornography. Recent judgment that we should keep it in mind. They frowned it. Recent judgment, Just Rights for Children, Aliens and Others versus S. Harish and others. 2024 SEC Online. Supreme Court page 2611 is its citation. Please note down. Supreme Court frowned it. They asked the courts to use the word CSEAM, C-S-E-A-M, CSEAM, child sexual exploitation and abuse of material. They gave such direction to the union government also. Press is correctly using. Recently I read some articles in Hindu and Times of India. They used the word CSEAM. They did not use the word child pornography. But we are using. Please see judgment, paragraph 260, Roman 1, Roman 2. Please kindly see. Paragraph 260, Roman 1, Roman 2. There is a wonderful judgment of Justice J.B. Pardiwala and Justice Chief Justice D.Y. Chandrachud. Wonderful judgment. They frowned the practice. The government may not follow, but we have to follow. Please kindly note this.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Sir, now I humbly request Honorable Srimati Justice E. Tirumala Devi, Madam, Judge High Court for the State of Telangana, to kindly present a memento to Her Lordship. Honorable Ms. Justice Maushami Bhattacharya, Judge High Court for the State of Telangana and Chairperson of the Committee to monitor the cases filed under POCSO Act. Now I humbly request Honorable Sri M.V. Ramesh Sir, Principal District Session Judge, Asifabad, to kindly present a memento to Honorable Sri C.H.K. Bhupati, Principal District Session Judge, retired. Thank you, sir. Now I humbly request Dr. Chetana, IPS, Women's Safety Wing, to kindly present a memento to Ms. Rema Rajeshwari, IPS, Deputy Inspector General of Police, Women's Safety Wing, Telangana. Now I humbly request Sri Akeshwar Rao, Joint Director, Women Development and Child Welfare, to kindly present a memento to Sri Pagadal Ashok, Additional Deputy Commissioner of Police, North Zone, Hyderabad. Now I seek the permission of the Honorable Chair to declare the session closed. Now it is time to for tea break, and all are requested to reassemble for the next session at within 10 minutes. In the lawn, tea is available, sir, for participants.